All right, welcome. This is meditation. I'm Rebecca, and I welcome you on this really beautiful Friday here in Atlanta. I
Got it.
the weather is by you, but it's really quite lovely here. And I'm going to mute the room for our focus. And I invite you to take a comfortable seat or lie down if that's your preferred meditative posture. So I'm aware that when things are difficult, and that can be a lot of different things. It can be personal things, it can be family things, it can be community things, it can be things in our world, and there's certainly no shortage of things that are challenging right now. That what happens when we face something difficult is constriction. There is a way in which we tighten up. And even if that's just in a challenging conversation with your spouse or your child or your parent, or something that is much bigger than that. The constriction can show up in the throat, can show up in the belly. We can hold our breath. And if we can find a way to recognize that this is happening in our bodies, not just the perseverating in our minds where we're going over and over what's going on, but if we can take the time to find the constriction we're feeling in our bodies, then there's a good chance that we can relax and let it go. And again, I say this often that I don't excuse me, I don't mean to be Pollyanna about this. None of this is easy. None of this is simple in any way. This is hard. This is hard stuff. And we have to deal with hard stuff. That's what life is. Life can be challenging. There are challenges all the time. And so if we can begin to connect with what is happening to us when we're facing challenge. We've talked a lot about that idea of the pause, right? That moment where we get to decide how we're going to react to the stimulus, to whatever's coming in. And in that ability to pause is our ability to recognize what's happening, to see where we are, to notice how we're responding, and to make a choice about how we want to respond and how we want to show up. So in our meditation today, we're going to do a gentle body scan, looking for tension, looking for sensation, and finding a way to notice the held places and to open up a little bit and let some light shine into those spaces. And again, we are not dealing with the story, right? We don't want to, this is not therapy. We're not talking about whatever the conflict is. We're only talking about how it shows up in your body. And we can all go there. And if it's challenging, we've talked about this, the butterfly touch, right? We don't land like with 2 feet on something challenging. We can just touch like a bubble, right? We can just touch on the challenging thing, the place that is constricted, and then keep moving, flowing, softening, and letting in the light. All right. So take a moment to get yourself set up. That might be sitting in a chair where your feet can touch the ground and your arms can rest. It might be sitting curled up on your couch, but in a way that you can lengthen your spine and feel very much awake and supported. It could be lying down. And again, in a place where you can lengthen your spine, where you feel supported, but where you can stay awake. This practice is a wakeful practice. We can't notice things if we are sleeping. So take some time to get into your position. And before you close your eyes and turn inward, take a moment to be very aware of your space. Notice the light. Notice the temperature. Maybe there's air. Maybe you can feel a breeze or a fan blowing. Notice any colors or patterns that you see around you. We've been talking in yoga about finding that little pop of joy that you can see in your space. Something you see every day, but allow yourself to notice something that gives you just a little pop of joy. Let it be one thing, and notice, recognize it, and take it in. And then if you'd like to close your eyes or take a soft, unfocused gaze, that is lovely and appropriate. Beginning to turn your attention more deeply inward, noticing how you're showing up today. Trying to let go of the activities of your morning or yesterday or the night before, and releasing your plans coming up, allowing yourself to be very present, fully present in your body, in this moment with your breath. Begin to notice the breath. Where do you feel it? Is there one place you can identify? Maybe it's the tip of your nose or the back of your throat or in your chest or belly. And allow the sensation of breath without changing it, without judging it. Just to allow it to become in your consciousness. You don't even have to focus on it. Just notice that you're breathing. And then if you'd like, let the breath help you lengthen your spine. If you're seated, maybe you reach just a little bit taller through the crown of your head. If you're lying down, maybe you're lengthening just a little bit more. Let the breath help you to release, letting go of the edges, particularly if you're seated. We need a little bit of muscular engagement to keep us upright. But we tend to over-engage. So can you relax the edges? If you're lying down, same thing, allowing the ground or whatever is beneath you to fully support you. I can't tell you how many times I've been lying down or seated for my meditation, and I realize that my shoulders are way up by my ears. And maybe you can let them drop down towards the floor, relaxing through your arms and hands, letting your palms be open. Allow your head to rest comfortably, either at the top of your neck or with the head dropping into the floor beneath you or the cushions beneath you. See if you can just soften all around, releasing the muscles around your eyes and around your mouth. Softening your jaw, let your teeth be parted slightly, your tongue resting in your mouth. Lips closed if you can breathe in and out through your nose. Softening through the throat, the heart, the belly, your sides, and along your back. Letting your hips be heavy, dropping more and more deeply into the cushions beneath you. Soften through your legs, your joints, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your feet. We're going to go through another body scan, and this time we'll be noticing any places that feel a little constricted. If it gives you pain or anxiety to focus on that, then again, use that butterfly touch, very lightly noticing, and then you can move away. And we'll start at the top of the head, noticing your scalp, your forehead, your temples and the sides of your head, dropping down the back of your head into your neck, noticing your jaw. As we go through, if you notice a place that feels constricted, see if you can bring your breath right to that place. And imagine that you're stretching from the inside out. The breath is allowing you to open up, let in some light. Noticing your neck and shoulders, your arms and hands. Coming back to heart center. Can you soften the heart and allow the breath to expand in that area? Softening between your shoulder blades and down the muscles of your back. Wrapping around your rib cage, your waist, to your low belly, your hips and low back, your glutes and your thighs, your knees, your shins and calves into your ankles and over your feet. Letting in some light, letting in some breath. Imagine that there's a clear blue sky above you, in front of you and behind you, to each side and straight up. And as thoughts and sensations pop up in your head and you're tempted to follow them, notice that and let them be like puffy white clouds in the blue sky, floating away with the breeze. And reflected in this blue sky, imagine you can see a clear blue lake. The lake is smooth as glass, clear and cool. As you notice the lake, you can be far away from it and just seeing it. You can be sitting close by. You can be floating in the lake, or you can just stay with the big blue sky. Whatever image you're choosing, can you soften and release? Letting go a little more with each breath. Now imagine that you're standing at the shore of this clear blue lake reflected in the sky above. And you've got a few pebbles in your hand. Each pebble is an act of loving kindness, something someone has done for you, something you have done for someone you love. And as you hold each pebble and toss it into the lake, hear the plunk and then see the ripples as they move wider and wider, expanding. The circle gets bigger and bigger. We'll move into some quiet, and you can stay with any of these images if you'd like to keep dropping stones, if you'd like to float or sit and watch. And as thoughts appear, allow them to float away. begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements into hands and feet, arms and legs. If you're lying down, you might roll your head a little bit from side to side and then roll all the way to one side and pause. When you feel ready, press into your hands to bring yourself up to sitting. We'll seal our practice with one chant of Om for the community that we create when we practice together. If you'd like to join bringing hands together at Heart Center, we'll inhale. Om. Om Shanti, peace, peace, peace. May the light in each of us be victorious. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with each other.